and then there is also one candidate, Cleophas Totoshi Manula, and then you.
Yes.
What makes you different from the others? Why should the 92 delegates, that is, come forth and say, you know what, we want fresh air, we want change, Kempes is the man to vote for?
The first thing is a big difference, by the way. There's nobody within the people that you mentioned that even comes close, in my opinion. Number one, I've played football at the highest level. Number two, I've worked in the corporate world. Number three, I have a history of having, brought visions to reality in a way that nobody has. I've been involved in building of infrastructure, physical infrastructure, football infrastructure in general. I've built leagues, I've built tournaments. I've been involved in the building of the infrastructure for the U.S. soccer from where they were to where they are now.
Yeah.
So I have all the host of experiences that nobody else has. In addition to that, if you look at what I've done in terms of bringing visions into reality, I've done that. So I can say that, if I go through each individual that you've mentioned, one has been part of a tournament, and that's it, pretty much. The other one is running clubs that, to me, could be run a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So my issue is that if you look at all these individuals, what they have done relative to what I've done, there's no comparison.
Exactly, and when you look at now, apart from the other things that you've done off and on the pitch, there has been a claim that you didn't have a touch with Kenyan football, having stayed in the United States. How do you answer them? How do you answer this? And are you going to give them a clear indication that once elected, you will not fly back to Texas and then you come back home?
I say, when I hear that, I chuckle because it's utter nonsense. The reason is because if you look at our history in our football, the people that have run our football for the last so many years are people who've been here, and they've done such a really bad job. And so being here is not a prerequisite for doing a good job.
Yeah.
So for me, if anything, I would say that having been in the United States and having done what I've done, learned what I've learned, gives me an advantage. I've been, when people talk about me not having been here, I've been coming and going.
Yes.
For many, many years. So I've kept up with football and what's going on. I've been involved in football in terms of supporting people who, specifically those that are involved in youth football. And I've supported even clubs like Gor Mahia, FC Leopards.
Yeah.
I've been involved in football for a long time. I think those people who say that just don't know that, number one.
Yeah.
And then secondly, no, this is, I'm permanently here, but an infrastructure, huge infrastructure for academy and hotels and stadium and fields. So I'm permanently here. Now I'm here permanently. So if I go to the US, it's because I'm visiting there.
Yes.
I'm back home.
Exactly, and when you talk about being back home, just maybe for those who love to know, how are you going to now work with the delegates? The delegates who love to know, are you going to bring them all together? Are you going to take football to them on the county level? How are you going to do your operations?
So when you talk about the delegates, my thinking was you're talking about the delegates who are going to vote, but you're talking about the stakeholders of football.
Yes.
You're talking about the stakeholders,
Yes.
right? So, one of the tenets of the governance that I talked about was inclusivity. So what we want to tell the stakeholders in football, whether it's the chairman or the clubs, is that our federation is going to be inclusive, our federation is going to be transparent, and it's going to be accountable. Those are three things that are important. Anything we do, we will involve stakeholders, and we will make sure that whatever we get up there, we will, money is obviously something that's the key of our problem. And the reason and it's easy to say money, but there's a bigger issue behind that. Why don't we get money? It's because of all these other problems we talk about. If we can fix those issues of corruption, of governance, of infrastructure, and create, I say, a brand that is a good brand and a marketable brand, then more money will come in. And so that money will flow all the way down to the sub-brand, to the grassroots. So we have our vision includes building this brand that is marketable, fighting corruption, being inclusive in the sense that all the stakeholders are involved in the process of building our football. Nobody has all the answers. The people who know best are the people who are involved in that process. If you look at the situation now, is our clubs are struggling very badly at all levels. Our chairmen, who are the delegates that are voting, are left hanging on their own. They do things on their own. So sometimes we blame those club chairmen, and I was one of them, but when you come to understand their circumstances, then you see why they are struggling. So I'm very hopeful about where Kenya football can be, and I think we can build something very special.
Talking about building something special, we are looking at the women football now. The Kenya under-17 women team, that is the Junior Starlets,
Yes.
Really made us proud of being the first national team to ever qualify for a FIFA World Cup tournament in Dominican Republic. But then when you look at them now growing and getting into the Kenya Women Premier League, one, there is no sponsorship. Two, we've had instances where we report that the team had to give a walkover because they couldn't get the transport and all that. Once elected, what are you going to do to bring the sponsors on board to make the women football grow and get to higher levels? Because even from the FIFA Women's World Cup, we saw some entertaining game of football. The final between England and Spain, incredible. People will be asking, when will Kenya get to those heights?
Yeah, the women issues that we have, a lot of them kind of overlap those of men, in the sense that we just have a problem period of Kenyan football. And that's an issue that it's women's issue, men's issue, it doesn't matter. What women want is equal opportunity. They don't want any favors or anything like that. They just want to be treated equally as men. Having said that, women football is unique in many ways, and I think there's tremendous opportunity in terms of ability to grow. There's a big upside in terms of women football, ability to attract sponsors. There's tremendous opportunity there. So for me, I feel like if we get the women act, if we get our act right on the women football, we can get a lot done in an easier way than we can men. One of the things that I plan to do is to create a unique brand for them, distinct, unique brand for them, and create a lane for them that is unique, that we can go and build and we can actually sell. Because I think opportunity is there. Once